and I'm contesting for the post of General Secretary Cultural Affairs. Ever since my first year in the institute, I've been actively involved in each and every event organized by the Institute Cultural Council itself. And I've learned the organization and the planning part of it as being the convener and the cultural mentor of the Fourth Wall Club, and then later on the Institute Dramatic Secretary. I'm a third year undergraduate, and in my course of 3 years, I've learned a lot. Culturals has been a great and integral part of my life. Culturals is one thing that has influenced me a lot, and now today I can say that I have learned the confidence, the ability to speak from the culturals itself. It has equipped me with confidence, it has helped me to talk to people, it has helped me to socialize, it has taught me the dedication, the discipline, and it has granted me with passion. It has transformed me altogether to a good and for good and made me the person I am today. And now, as the Institute Dramatic Secretary, I can say that culturals, yes, culturals is the important part of each and everyone's life. One thing I would add on to this is, as the General Secretary Cultural Affairs, I want to equip each and every student present in this campus. I want to equip each and every student, be it PGs, be it UGs, be it first year, second year, third year or fourth year. I want to give them the power that I feel today. I feel that IIT Bombay Culturals is unique because we have a very special open club culture which is present nowhere in the other institutes in India, because we believe that more the number of people who come and join the club, more will be the bonding between the seniors and the juniors, and more will people be able to learn. I have prepared this manifesto and I will abide by it. On the other hand, I also strongly believe that as a General Secretary, there are many initiatives and reforms I can accomplish, which are not written right down here in this manifesto. And if given the chance, I will surely complete them and I will surely explore each and every one of them. Thank you.
So we'll be starting with the second round of SOAPBOX, the manifesto debate. The candidate will have to answer 6 questions asked by the panel, 5 minutes per question. We can have maximum of 3 rebuttals. This round will go on for maximum of 30 minutes. The panel may now ask the questions.
Okay, starting with the first question. Sarthak, in your manifesto, you have included many different types of workshops which are new to the institute, like international cult workshop, inter-IT workshops. So how are you trying to fit them in your already like very busy calendar?
Okay. So basically, the main idea of international cult is that every year 20 students come on a student exchange program, and since we are a culturally diverse nation and many people from different parts of India come to IIT Bombay to take part, we can expect that they also have the cultural capabilities which they can instill in us. On the other hand, it goes hand in hand. So so their main reason to come here is to learn, also have a good exposure of the Indian culture, which would be given by the workshops themselves. Talking about inter-IIT, yes, there will be professional workshops for inter-IIT and they'll be held during the time when the students are here and they prepare for the practices. Mostly the students who have been selected in the auditions, they prepare in December, and a major part of November after the entrance as well. So then will be the workshops will be held.
Okay, so you are said the workshops will be held after the selection. So don't you think that the people who are selected for inter-IT are already very good in quality? So why do you think there is a need for workshops for them?
Okay. I always believe that there is a scope of improvement in each and every aspect of it. We are never professionals. We can never reach to a professional level since we are in a technical institute. So I believe, yes, there's always a scope of improvement.
So I think like organizing quality workshops will involve huge investment from the council or institute itself. So don't you think like organizing such quality workshops or advanced workshops for the whole institute rather than like limiting them to internally selected people?
Okay, so the main aim of Inter-IT is to ensure that we send a quality participation for Inter-IT. Yes, we can have workshops for other as well, but this being the venue for Inter-IT, and the question was specifically asked for the Inter-IT workshops. Yes, these workshops will basically from advanced, from mediocre to amateur to advanced level workshops, and we can.
So as in you are planning for 3 kinds of workshops for Inter-IT, separately workshops before GCs. As in, so you have mentioned in your inter-hostel competition points that you will ensure a large number of GCs are preceded by a workshop. So where are you planning to fit this into your calendar?
Also, you have now answered the point that international cult workshop, it will also be organized. So what is the timeline for that also?
So the main, I'll answer the question in 2 steps. Let me first answer about the international cult workshop. So this is basically not, these workshops will not be taken by professionals themselves. These workshops are basically sessions, and they will be taken by the students who are here on the semester exchange, who are aware enough of the foreign cultures. And so these will be held majorly in the second semester, and the same thing will happen vice versa. We will also be able to expose them to the Indian culture.
Sarthak, I guess it's the last rebuttal. I just wanted to clarify. You said that you would be holding these workshops in December, the Inter-IT workshops.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, like this year also we saw a harsh decline of participation in Mood Indigo competitions, which also happened at the end of November and starting of December in many genres. So cluttering up that part of this with more workshops for the Inter-IT team, doesn't that hamper this even more that we won't be able to participate in our own festival?
So, since Institute Cultural Council conducts various events all throughout the year, and we strive towards the better quality of workshops and all. So, I don't think selecting after the selection, since we have filtered the from the beginner side and taken the amateurs into part, the beginners can always take part in Mood Indigo and other competitions as well. So, I don't think that would be a major problem.
So you would reduce chances of winning because you're not putting your best people on it.
When there, sometimes we have to take decisions between 2 competitions, and now Inter-IT and Mood Indigo are both clashing events, if it happens, and so we obviously need to choose one of them. I would also like to add on, we can surely have a system if the competition format of the Inter-IT and the Mood Indigo is similar. Yes, we can send in the same entries, and that will be also a quality participation because we have kept proper professional workshops for them, and they will be on a greater level as they were before.
Time up. We'll start with the second question from the panel.
Sarthak, since we've seen a very low number of entries that have been coming in the PG cultural phases of film, and you said that you would increase PG cultural production, why do you think that increasing one specific competition or one specific event would actually increase the participation? And who are the people who are going to work on this production?
So, basically throughout my groundwork, I discovered that the film culture needs appropriate and necessity attention in the postgraduate community. So people don't know they have a fear. They have a fear that they cannot properly perform, or they don't know basically the technical know-how actually how to make a film. So basically there'll be a really basic level workshop, a similar format which runs with the Freshida Phase 1 for the UG freshers, and this will happen after the PG Cult production, PG Cult Phase 1. So the second part of your question was, can you repeat the question?
So I think you haven't even answered my first part. Is that what is this actually? Is this a competition or is it a workshop?
This is just a workshop. The competitions will, so basically these are workshops, these are, let me correct the statement, these are basically workshops which will help them to improve. The competition will be not to a greater extent because everyone is learning from the start, and Basically, since in a similar format as the freshies take part in the UG Freshida.
I just want to correct you that your point specifically states provide mentorship to the post-graduations and make short films and music videos.
Yes.
So the question is like that, like the PG cult competitions in the film genre has very low participation from the recent 2 years. So why do you think the cultural production has decent participation?
And who is going to actually make these workshops? Perform
So
these workshops?
basically, to increase participation, first you need to provide the technical know-how. So PG cultural production is aimed to that aspect of it.
Who is going to perform these workshops?
So these workshops, these series of workshops, the mentoring sessions, will be performed by the UG people, the seniors, the club seniors, and not basically the third years or the fourth years.
So
So
it
basically, the
counts as
SOAPier can also perform.
But it comes under the responsibility of the cultural secretary.
Yes.
Okay, so don't you think like along with this point, I can see the lot of points which involves the work of institute secretaries, like specific institute secretaries. So don't you think like your manifesto like has a lot of points which are like specific to work of institute secretaries? So won't you be forcing your manifesto on your institute secretary, which will be independently elected by themselves?
15 points to be exact. There are 15 points which directly involve you telling your secretary to do some work, and they have the initiatives of their own. So how do you proceed in?
So I'll answer this question again in 2 steps. First, I feel that I, as a general secretary, am an amalgam of each and every genre, and I have to look into each and every genre. So providing it by providing individual attention in my manifesto itself does not harm the functioning of the senior secretaries, because also I have talked to each and every secretary each and every candidate who's running for the post of the institute secretary, and I've made myself very clear, and they all are on the same page as me on this aspect. So I'm not basically not snatching away their freedom to do whatever they want. It's basically in coordination with the institute secretaries themselves.
So a major concern I had, like what if a genre secretary like doesn't want to do a manifesto point which you have mentioned? So what will be your call in that?
As a general secretary, yes, I will talk to him. I will convey him the necessity of the the point, or the necessity of the event if it's gonna happen. So we will have a proper discussion, and with the club seniors of the respective genre as well. And if a conclusion comes on, if the institute secretary wants the point to get abolished, or some emergency situation or anything arises up, yes, I will give him the freedom to at least follow this, because he's also an elected body as I am.
So I think it's a good thing that you've talked to your future secretaries, but they haven't started working yet. They don't have any idea about what it's going to be like. Do you truly believe that these 15 points will not overwork your council?
No.
No more rebuttals left.
So-
Let's move on to the next question. Complete your answer.
So the third question is on auditions. Why do you think there's a need for auditions? And what all genres do you think needs auditions? And is there a database existing from PG Cult and Freshiza? So just for database, why do you want? You can answer it instead.
So we have events throughout the year. The cultural events are spread out throughout the year, and basically, in start of every event, we do need to know what all is the quality, what all are the people present in the institute who can perform, who can take part in the event and all. So basically, having a proper maintained database, a record of each and every genre, in which we will be able to list down what all are the things, and what all is the person to person capability and quality of a person. So basically, this is a record of all the people in the institute who are performing in the cultural events as well.
So don't you think auditions like these will increase exclusivity for clubs and will hamper your open club culture?
So basically, these auditions are not for an event. So basically, जब auditions हो रहे हैं, auditions के साथ साथ ऐसा नहीं हो रहा कि उनको results announce करें कि हाँ आप अच्छे हैं, आप अच्छे हैं, आप अच्छे हैं, आप अच्छे हैं. This is auditions to keep the record. Basically, these auditions are to maintain the record, and the people then will know कि then it depends upon the person discretion of the event, the conductor, the institute secretary himself, if he wants to disclose the results or not. Basically, this is the record by the institute secretary. This won't be disclosed to the people, just for the help of the institute secretaries.
Sure. Another thing that I wanted to clarify with you is auditions, as far as I know, in major genres are conducted based on the competition, based on the, like suppose let's say the case of dramatics, auditions are done based on the script that is in mind. And so I just wanted to know that the auditions or the databasing that you're doing at the beginning, what is the basis for that? How are you going to classify this database without actually, what are you going to audition for without any script or without any competition in mind? And what is the structure of this database or the categories within this database that you're going to, like, what are the categories you're going to show or divide the people into who appear for these auditions?
Also, how will these auditions will be publicized?
So talking about the structure of the auditions. So what according to the plan, the auditions will be, we have, if talking about the dramatics genre itself, we've got a script bank in which we've got.
You should talk about just talk about.
Yeah,
in
sure.
general.
So the question was pertaining to the dramatics. So example. So basically, if we talk about individual genres or any genre in general, जिसके auditions हम conduct करा रहे हैं, so उनके लिए there are seniors who, for example, who know the in dance, for example, who know the choreography, for example, in dramatics, who have the scripts. So they already have the experience to conduct the auditions, and they will then be able to conduct the auditions of the freshers in UG and PG. So the structure is simple and similar to that. It's basically very simple. So basically on a day, or in a span of 2 to 3 days, the auditions will be held at a particular venue, and people will come there. The genres will be divided in the 2 to 3 days, and they will come and audition for this. So the record will be kept and stored. So the categories in mind is, basically we can easily pull them off with the performing arts, because these genres basically require the auditions in the major aspect. And then for the publicity aspect of it, the publicity, as I mentioned earlier, these auditions are majorly for the institute secretaries. They won't be publicized because that would defeat the whole purpose of the auditions, so that people won't feel this, the comparison, they won't feel the comparison. This is basically for the help of the institute
You're
secretary.
just going to have a private audition where the Seki contacts a few people to come and give the audition.
Not the secretary, the club seniors as well.
Yeah, the club seniors, like, I think your major motive is to get PGs and freshers who are not just, like, seniors already know who to call. I think your major motivation is to get the freshers and these people, right? So without actually publicizing this, if the club seniors are deciding who has to audition, how is that fulfilling your purpose?
They don't have to decide.
Also, like, considering we have a good structure of freshers and physical, don't you think this motivation of yours is satisfied by freshers and physical?
30 seconds left.
In Freshida, we keep competitions, and I personally feel in Freshida we are not able to cater to each and every student, because Freshida is also clash with all events, and also in my manifesto I've mentioned to revamp Freshida as a whole. So I will be reducing the number of competitions and keeping more informal events. It's on the second page. And so basically the need of the audition rises all the more.
Let's move on to the fourth question.
So, Sarthak, my question is regarding the digital publicity that you have mentioned. So, this point has been seen in like last 2 to 3 years G6 manifesto constantly, right? And it could not get implemented. So, what is your plan? How are you planning to do this, and how will it be implemented in your tenure? How do you ensure that?
Okay. So basically, the manifesto consists of this point as a follow-up, because ये already run हो रहा है, ये program already start हो
I want to add to the question, what do you think the reason for the failure of this point?
Sarthak, go ahead.
Okay.
You were telling it's already going on.
Yeah. So it has already been started. We've made a project on this on the API computer itself by the Dublin CC. The project is now it's ready. It was not ready in the previous years. So this was the issue with the first years, because the project was not ready yet. Now the project is ready and we can implement it further. So basically this is how it will be implemented.
Was the problem at the end of WCNCC? Was it the only reason, or was it also that the G6 were not agreeing to actually have these systems put up in the hostels?
So I talked to the general secretaries of the hostels in my groundwork, and they feel that this is also a good point for the publicity. I also talked to the cultural councils of the hostels. So that's one thing that wouldn't be there.
So as you also might be knowing that this has already been implemented in Hostel 9, right?
Yeah.
So how much did that cost? Could you know that?
So in Hostel 9, this is basically the LED panel of it, which shows the. This is not what the digitized publicity means here. We plan to put up a LED screen there and put up posters of the events, actually posters, and not
So you are also planning
LED
for
of
that
this.
screen, proper screen.
Yeah.
The screen that is there in Hostel 9.
Yeah. So I planned. So the estimate budget for this would be 2,000 to 3,000 for a RPI computer, and if the hostel wants to add on the screen as well. So a simple screen would cost around 10,000. So the whole budget will be from 12,000 to 13,000
It will be around 15,000, right?
maximum. Yeah.
Yeah, so you also might have talked to the G6
Yes.
of the hostels, right?
Yes.
How many?
I've talked to the general secretary of in number.
Yeah, number.
I've talked
Also
to.
tell me how many G6 have you talked to?
I've talked to 5 to 6 general secretaries.
Tell me the hostels which you have talked to.
Okay. So I've talked to Hostel 2 General Secretary.
Okay.
I've talked to Hostel 3 General Secretary. I've talked to Hostel 5 Hostel 6 General Secretary. I'm really sorry. I've talked to the Hostel 9 General Secretary. I've talked to Hostel 10 General Secretary. And I've talked to Hostel 12 General
So
Secretary.
they all are ready for that?
They all said that is a good initiative, and they really say that if we put this on the table, we could move forward with it.
I have two questions that I want to ask. Initially, don't you think that out of 16 hostels, talking to 5 G6 is not a bit low? First of all, that. And secondly, I think there's a very major flaw in this, that if you actually have this implemented, as far as I know, the budget comes from the General Secretary of the hostel itself. If a person is getting this put up in his hostel, why would he not just publicize his hostel events, which are already very high in number, that they would overshadow the cultural events?
So basically, the main idea of having digitized publicity is that sometimes the posters and the flexes in rainy seasons, and basically the reach of the flexes is not much, and there are chances that it gets torn apart or it gets removed on them.
His question is that,
So-
how will you, as a GS cult, and how will the General Secretary of Hostel Affairs, General Secretary of the hostel, who has himself paid, so how will you be able to prioritize between yourself, that who's
Like there are
who's
plenty of
event will-
hostel events and GCs which needs to be advertised in the hostel. So yeah.
So I will collaborate regarding this matter with the next General Secretary Hostel Affairs and take help from him regarding this.
The question is, don't you think the cultural events will be getting less priority? That is the question.
Because you are basically saying that the hostels will be having more of the events and the cultural events. So my main motive is not to maintain only club culture. I also want to promote hostel culture. So I don't think that is an issue.
Another point, like you said, you talked to H9 G6, but when we talked to the G6, he said the estimated cost of the installment was 30 to 40,000, as compared to you said 15,000. So that is an issue. And also, what is the number of hostels you think is suitable to call this initiative a success?
So I talked to the hostel
30
secretary
seconds left.
as well, and he basically said a 30 to 40,000 screen would be advisable, not mandatory. The 10 to 15,000 budget is for a minimal requirement. If the warden agrees upon to put up a decent setup, a basically advanced setup, and then the 30 to 40,000.
Our major
Will
concern
be
was
done.
if you have any of your...
So that you don't have any
uh,
sustainable issues.
Right?
Time up. Panel, please keep your number of rebuttals to 3. Okay. We'll move to the next question.
Okay, explain about the NCO. Will it be government sanctioned, and how are you going to implement, and what all genres are you targeting?
So basically, in the institute, we have got NSO cult, which makes absolutely no sense because National Sports of Organization culturals. So it's rather better and more permanent to have NCO as National Cultural Organization, in which we can include more verticals in the cultural genre. And so basically, it will be government sanctioned. it will be pushed to MHR, the higher authority itself, and it will be government sanctioned. Yes.
So like in the previous tenures, there have been efforts to make this government sanctioned and it was failed. So what are you going to bring or what is your plan of action that it will be like sanctioned this year?
So I've talked to the higher authorities regarding this matter, and I have basically this idea was in collaboration with one of the higher authority. I'm not allowed to name the higher authorities in this manner in the SOAPBOX, but in one of the higher authorities as well. So this year there is one positive point, so that we can run forward with it, and I also plan it to expand it to other IITs in the inter-IT span meet to other IITs, and if they also accept it, and we can then push forward as a proper event to the highest authority.
Also, you have not answered the question like what all genres are you targeting?
I said other verticals as, for example, NCO debate, NCO in dramatics, it will start again, NCO in dance, and etc. I will start with these three basically.
Do you think about like NCO film and photography?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think like in NSO in general, if a student is pursuing an NSO, he has to purchase equipments or materials required for the same. So what will help, will the NSO film or photography people will be getting any help from the institute, or they will have to purchase equipments worth 25,000-30,000?
So basically if you get the funding from the highest authority, you don't have to buy the instrument.
But
so,
the NSO already has a funding and they are still have to purchase the equipment.
NSO keyboard does have the issue, the equipment is already there.
Could you please answer the entire question properly? That how considering that equipment comes at a very expensive cost.
Sure.
Also considering there will be somewhere around 20 to 25 people in an NCO, I'm extremely sorry. How are you going to manage the budget, and like where is it coming from? How are people going to be able to actually go forward with this?
If we actually get the funding from the highest authority, the budget will be mentioned from, will be available from them as well. Yes.
Okay, another question I had was, 2 years back, efforts were made to reduce the number of students per NSO, which was like reduced to 20 per NSO, and also the reason was this was the reduction in the students in NSS. So don't you think like increasing the number of NCO will affect that?
So currently I plan on to increase this into 3 genres, 3 verticals, which is basically debate, dramatics and dance, and that would be a total gap of 60 students out of a possible 950 approximately students. So that won't be a major issue as well.
Don't you think 60 people less in the NSS will affect NSS?
So basically you cannot suppose that if someone is not joining NSO will go to NSS.
But yeah, people opt for NSO and NCO prior to.
There's also NCC, so basically we can talk about that as a whole.
1 minute left.
No, so the only concern that we were discussing was about that the money will be given only for the instructors, right?
Yeah.
Our question was that whatever the equipments are required, who will sponsor that? That was the question.
So that the equipment will be sponsored once it gets official by the highest authority itself.
Even then, it only happens for the instructor, right? The budget. How is it coming for the equipment?
That will be by the highest authority if it gets sanctioned.
Candidate, please answer all the questions asked by the panel. All the questions in one rebuttal. Okay. We'll move to the next question.
So you mentioned a point about actually having cult skill courses where you would propose micro credit courses. The first part of my question is, could you please define what you mean by micro credit? Secondly, what is the need for this given that there are many courses which you can take for the cultural genre under the IDC? And what is your plan of action for actually implementing this?
Just a minute. Yeah. So basically, this is, first of all, let me clear this out, that we are currently running a course of perspectives of world cinema, and the course name, and the other name is script writing in the IDC department. So this format is separate and different from that format. So basically there will be instructors from different academies outside IIT Bombay. The instructors, so basically this is similar on the similar lines as a semester exchange program. So people might go to the academies, or the people, if the academies understand, they would come here in the institute and teach the students. They'll be.
Why do you want to create a separate micro course? Because the amount of effort undertaking this course is much more than a 2-credit course.
And given that you're already putting NCO, ISCP and in-semester cultural school, do we really need this?
Why do you want a 2-credit course is basically what I'm about to ask.
So basically, why do you need
a 2-credit course? And since there are already so many 6-credit courses under Studio Project which allow cultural genres to be explored, why do you want to have this actually occur?
So basically, the main motive of the cult skill courses is to provide students with a more academic background rather than to give them a hands-on experience. And I believe personally that the skill-based courses, if taught by a professional outside academy who has seen the exposure outside IIT Bombay, if they teach them, that would be a greater use to the people, to the student body.
Alright, you still haven't told me why Studio Project is not a good substitute, but whatever. How many people outside the institute have you spoken about this?
I've currently talked with the dance academy, one dance academy, I can name them as well. I've talked with one dramatics academy, and I'm currently in contact. I'm not able to talk to them with the exact procedure, but I'm in contact with the music academy right now.
So, could you please explain how it's going to work? Like they're going to come, like how you actually made the structure? How is grading going to happen?
I've kept the structure flexible. There is no particular rule that they will come here or we will go there. That could be looked upon as per the structure gets approved by the. I will basically put up both the points on the table, and as and when it gets approved, the structure will be followed. And so basically, the professional instructors would grade them on their basis, and the faculty, which is overlooking everything, would map those on the 2 to 3 micro-credit courses.
All right. Again,
30 seconds left.
Last.
1 minute left, right?
All right. So my last question, I guess, is that you've still not explained to me what is the whole point of this, because if it's a 3-credit theory course, I think your motivation would be to increase the quality of people, because and you're saying it's not going to be hands-on, so it's to increase the theoretical knowledge for the 3-credit course. And don't you think that keeping so many other events and other festivals and all that you already put in your manifesto, why do you think this is a requirement? And since you already mentioned the in-semester cultural school,
yes,
we will actually be going to teach them, why do you want to have these 3-credit minor courses?
So basically, there are many people in the institute who currently, this is basically on the similar lines as we currently learn script writing. So we already
Could you
teach.
please repeat it, I couldn't actually.
So this is on exactly same. ये तो वही बात होगी जैसे स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग के अंदर जो कोर्स रन हो रहा है उसके अंदर स्टूडेंट्स पार्ट क्यों लेते हैं. So basically to provide them a better professional outlook to them. So we can't assure in the students in cult school are properly from a professional background or they have a proper diploma in the course or not. Sometimes the cult school is in certain circumstances could be taken by the club seniors as well, because the motive is fulfilled of the cultural school. But here I majorly need to provide professionalism to the student, to teach them what exactly and how the professionals teach them step by step from the very basics.
We'll move on to the next section of SOAPBOX, the topic debate. The topics have been selected by the audience through chit picking. The panel will announce the topics. 10 minutes per topic.
Sure. You have the topic? Should I read?
No limit on number of rebuttals.
Yeah. So, first one is inter-genre collaboration. On one hand, inter-genre collaborations increase overall cult bonding between different genres and creates new avenues for different types of events. On the other hand, we already have a major platform of these opportunities in PAF. What is your view on introducing more inter-genre events?
Okay. So my view on inter-genre events is कि सबसे पहले जो inter-genre events होते हैं उनके अंदर वो तभी successful हो पाते हैं जब जो भी genres उसमें part ले रहे हैं उनका सबका एक motive fulfill हो. उन सबको एक पर जॉनर एक पर्सनल उनका खुद जॉनर वाइज मोटिव फुलफिल हो, तभी एक इंटर जॉनर कोलैबोरेशन पॉसिबल है. एंड इंटर जॉनर कोलैबोरेशन से ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट आई सपोज सबसे पहले है एक इंटर जॉनर इंटरैक्शन. If there will be an inter-genre interaction, then we could further move to inter-genre collaboration in the future. Currently, in the current scenario, I will aim more on the inter-genre interaction. And since inter-IT is also on the run, I would choose inter-IT as a venue for this very same thing to increase more inter-genre interactions by having more informal. We can have a proper gala or a proper. Meeting before the inter-IT of the whole inter-IT contingent for the inter-IT interaction, inter-genre interaction, very sorry. So then in the future we can move on to inter-genre collaborations.
So are you saying that as of now the interaction between the genres is very low? Because as you must be knowing, there have already been inter-genre events that have been happening.
Sure.
And are you trying to say that we would actually need gala dinners for inter-IT to improve interaction between the genres, so you can actually do this later, which is what you just said?
So basically that was just an example. So I am just saying that inter-genre interactions is first thing we should aim at. Yes, there are inter-genre collaborations between some genres, but before encompassing it to each and every genre, first it is necessary that each and every genre feels more interactive amongst each another. So there are inter-genre collaborations currently in the institute. Yes, there are. I will promote inter-genre interaction as and when the motive of both the genres is fulfilled. And yes, there are. I can quote an example from the current scenario. There is next year we will plan to have one shoot films of dance and music. So basically, one take film will basically be a new adventure for the film club, and the motive of the dance club will also be fulfilled. So these basically these things would be happening in the future. So I'm not currently against the inter-genre collaborations.
You absolutely ignored my question was, do you feel that there is no inter-genre interactions as of now? And you
there are less inter-genre interactions as of now. We could reasonably increase the amount.
All right.
Okay, and also I had a point like, why do you need like inter-IT for inter-genre collaboration or like, so don't you think like the motivation of inter-IT dies down after the end of inter-IT, and don't you think like the work should be more focused on like collaboration between club first rather than inter-IT?
That is the main issue, right? So inter-genre interactions, inter-IT is a good avenue for that. We could have inter-IT interactions apart from inter-IT as well. And also after inter-IT, if the interactions die down, so this proves my point that there is a scope of improvement in the inter-genre interactions.
What I said is like motivation of inter-IT dies down was interaction.
Huh? Can you repeat?
I said motivation of inter-IT dies down, not interaction between the players.
Please listen to the questions properly before answering.
Yeah.
You've been answering separate answers for separate questions absolutely till now in this debate. Please answer the questions you asked.
Sure.
Okay, okay, so also your manifesto doesn't show anything on inter-genre collaboration or anything you plan to do.
Okay, so I had other points in the manifesto to include as well. So inter-genre collaboration is one thing I feel is a basic duty and basic overlook of a general secretary of cultural.
So you meant to say like basic duty should not be mentioned in the manifesto, right?
Yes, they should be mentioned, but there are other duties as well. So apart from, as I said in my opening statement, I strongly believe that I can accomplish various events, various reforms and initiatives which are not mentioned in the manifesto itself, and inter-genre collaboration is one of them.
Okay, I want to ask you another question based on the example you gave me, the one-shot film. Have you spoken about this to the seniors of the film community as well as the secretary who's being contested?
Yes, I have spoken with it regarding the candidates. Regarding this, to the candidates who are going for the post of
Because
the
I have
secretary.
the data for both their manifestos, as well as I've spoken to them during the SOAPBOX, and none of them have any plan to do this in the calendar.
Okay, so basically, if that is the scenario, So this is just one example I wish to give you because this is one thing that could happen in the future. I personally have talked to them regarding this, and basically the inter-genre collaboration is basically with two genres, right? So the other genre secretaries, the candidates going for this post have also talked to them. These points are in the manifestos of those secretaries. You could have a look.
But if the person who has to actually do it does not have it in his calendar or his manifesto, how do you seem to accomplish that? Because their calendar is very busy as it is.
It sure is. So basically, the secretaries for film and the candidates going for the post of the Film and Media Secretary, Institute Film and Media Secretary, they are going to help the other genre secretaries. The point is also visible in their manifesto, and that has been put in the manifesto only after talking with the candidates. I'm sure if we would bring the candidates and talk to them, we could clarify this further.
Alright, could you give me some other examples? Because this example is not going to happen at all, because I've spoken to both of them.
So there's one inter-genre collaboration which is known as the Backyard Jam. So that is basically creating an original composition and recording it professionally, and then the music video would be made on the original composition. So basically the film has a motivation to make a music video on an original composition altogether, and the music club is making original composition and learning a lot from this. So basically this is a good example of inter-genre collaboration.
So Backyard Jam happened last year as well.
Yes.
And would you call the Backyard Jam that happened a success or a failure as in comparison to the collaboration part? Individually, the songs were recorded were very good. But do you think the collaboration
So
part
as I said, inter-genre collaboration सिर्फ तभी हो सकते हैं जब दोनों genres का फायदा हो. And इसके अंदर जो इस बार जो issue हुआ था was that the recordings of Backyard Jam were not original compositions. So the motivation for the film club was lost. So that was the issue.
I was the one shooting them, and the motivation of the film club was to shoot music videos. It wasn't to shoot original compositions.
I have talked to the Institute Film and Media Secretary, and he said that this was the main issue regarding this matter.
And how are you going to change that this year, apart from the original composition part?
So if we aim to have an original composition, this would be a more enthusiastic topic for them, a more enthusiastic event for them, as they would learn in it.
That's it, I guess.
There's still time left. Candid, do you want to say something on the topic? You want?
Can we start second topic?
Do one thing. Ask a final round of clarifications if you have any. Final round.
We'll make the use of this time in our second topic then.
Sure.
Works, right? Because like Sarthak, you also don't have anything else to say, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you don't have these things in your manifesto, like the inter-genre, but you still want that.
But I still promote
Want that,
inter-genre
but-
collaboration if the event is on.
But but your final verdict is you will promote inter-genre interactions this year, but you will push forward for inter-genre collaborations much later, after the interaction gets much better, right?
Yes, so this would also depend genre-wise. So if the particular inter-genre collaboration requires a more interaction, yes, we would push for interaction and inter-genre collaboration as well.
So your major motive is that as of now
Yeah.
you do not promote, you do not want inter-genre interactions as of now.
We want inter-genre interactions as of now, and yes, as a general secretary, we cannot say it on a general perspective. That would also depend on the genre who are going to collaborate.
Okay, another topic which you want to discuss.
One sec, guys. Clarification to the panel. This is a topic debate. It's not necessary that it is in the manifesto or it is not in the manifesto.
Yeah, so that's
The
what
idea
we
is to
want.
have the opinion of the candidate.
Yeah, that's
the
what.
clarification.
That's what. So his opinion should be, reflected in the manifesto. So that's what was
Not necessarily about this point, because it is not from the manifesto, right? It's taken outside of manifesto. It's a topic debate.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, second topic we want to discuss is number of events. It has been observed that over the years participation in events and the audience that has been roughly stagnant. What do you think are the reasons? IT Bombay has a tightly packed calendar of culturals, and reducing the number of existing events will free up the cultural calendar and may result in better participation from both ends.
So basically, I think this question is put forward and taking only cultural events into aspect. There are also many events in the institute that happen. For example, the events of the sports council, by the academic council, by other institute independent bodies. So basically, there are in general a large number of events which hampers the participation in a particular genre. So this is the main reason that the participation has been stagnant over a number of years. If we want to increase the number of events so I basically want more the better quality of events rather than increasing them to a altogether different scale. I am basically increasing low prep events like the cultural opens and workshops, so that they won't require more number of preparation, and that would not pack the cultural calendar as well. And one more thing I want to add, if we see from the perspective of a particular batch, अगर मैं फ्रेशिस की तरफ से देखूं, अगर मैं सोफीज के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं, अगर मैं पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं, अगर मैं थर्ड ईयर, सेकंड ईयर, फर्स्ट ईयर सबके पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं, सो नंबर ऑफ इवेंट्स उनके लिए ज़्यादा नहीं है. नंबर ऑफ इवेंट्स कल्चरल काउंसिल के लिए उनको कंडक्ट कराने के लिए ज़्यादा है, एंड आई प्लान ऑन टू मर्ज सम ऑफ देम, एंड सो दैट द फंक्शनिंग could be better, the quality of events could be better, the auditions the audition for the inter-IT in future could also be merged with the cultural opens if it is possible. So yes, I am looking for quality of events, but increasing number of events which require a high preparation is not the solution to increase the stagnant participation which has been present in over the years.
You do want to reintroduce Litfest and Filmfest, right?
Yes.
So don't you think like
Litfest, this revamped structure is basically a compilation of 3 different events which happen in the cultural calendar at different times. So this is basically a compilation and reducing the number of events, not increasing
Wait
them.
a second. Filmfest is a reduction in number of events.
Litfest, I said Litfest.
Okay, and what about the others?
So if Filmfest is because there was a issue, there was a problem faced in the film festival in the previous years, which was the main reason it was not being able to held properly. But now we have the proper resources and we have the seniors in the club who are enthusiastic about the film festival. So yes, that is going to happen. So that is an addition to event, but obviously this is a trade-off. We surely cannot speak entirely into one aspect. Introducing the film festival will improve the quality to altogether different scale, will provide them a platform to actually perform the film they love that much. Perform them the cultural aspect for their cultural growth. So basically, I don't think that would hamper the participation which has been stagnant over the years.
Also, the introduction of cultural open auditions, international cult, and aren't this increase in the number of events?
So basically, I suppose the events are also for the target audience. You want to aim for the event. If you talk about international cult, yes, increasing number of events for the people who are for the semester exchange, yes, they don't have that much attention and they would get the orientation. If we talk about workshops, we already have informal sessions in the club, in different clubs. So we could replace the informal sessions by workshops and keep the informal sessions after the workshops, which will be a perfect collaboration for them and perfect learning platform. So that would increase the quality as well as the quantity in the number of events,
All right. Are we ending?
You have 4 minutes left.
Okay. So one thing I wanted to touch on is you said that you would like to increase the number of low prep events and remove some of the high prep events, or not even remove, to maintain them so as to increase the participation, right? The new events that you want to introduce is Institute Cultural Summer Project in Semester Cultural School. Don't you think both of these are extremely high preparation events?
The Institute Culture, the summer project
And the INSEM Cultural School. There are many more, but these are the 2 examples of the top one. As well as this Institute Graphic.
we have some time, I'll list it down. ISCP, Cultural School, Cult Yatra you want to increase, you want to introduce some cultural flagships again, cultural open auditions, Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat, International Cult. You want to conduct workshops for inter-IT cult, you want more workshops for general championships, you want doorstop workshops, you want PG cultural production, you want Institute Graffiti project, Click Beatles. I mean, I don't think your...
Click Beatles is not a workshop.
I mean, it's not a workshop.
Events.
Event.
We're talking about the events.
Yeah.
So like, I see a lot of events increasing than that. I think this is almost 13 new points. I mean, okay, fine that you want to introduce more events and you want to introduce more people coming in. But do you really think that you need 13 more events to do it?
So basically, some of these events are replacements of some events which are already happening in the institute.
Okay.
So we are not increasing the events altogether to a different scale. And also, I feel that there are motivation behind each and every event is different, and the target audience for each event is also very different. So if we talk about in ICSP, Institute Cultural Summer Project, these are basically for the people who are staying in the summers and they are performing the activity, the seniors, the people who stay for the internship or the projects or the technical summer project. So these are for those. Then you talked about the cult yatras. This is basically to provide them more professional experience. These are one-day trips to outside art festivals. Then we talk about the cultural flagships. Yes, I cleared you about the lit fest, the film fest, and the open mic night. The open mic night also happened this year, and it's going to happen once more. So that is not an addition of event. And auditions, yes, auditions will take 2 to 3 days. We'll perform. It's a high prep event, I agree, but it will be. But then I'm reducing the load on Freshida itself, which is then nullifying the whole point of it. Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat is really, really important in terms of having cultural diversity, and it is an initiative by the highest authority, and this event could also be collaborated with other events in the institute, since we can bring cultural diversity to a common platform in other events also.
So 1 minute left.
Sarsan,
Yes.
1 minute. It's been 7 minutes for this topic. Okay.
But
Okay, so one major aspect that I want to touch on is that you said ki, like,
should I? Yeah. So, Sarthak, see, you said every event that you're planning to conduct is very much, targeted audience oriented.
Not every, a major number of them.
They are very much
Yeah.
of targeted audience oriented.
They
right?
are.
So, like, you could target the international people, everyone. So, it was just my concern that should there not be any point which targets the normal people who are staying in hostels, or like, couldn't you plan some event that can be in collaboration with the hostel during their hostel festivals or something like that?
Yes, sure. So basically, that is the point. The doorstep workshops would also be in collaboration with the hostel event, the hostel workshops.
I'm
And
saying
one-
some cultural kind of event, like an
Doorstep
informal
is
event in the hostel phase conducted by ICC. Won't that be very much useful for us?
in the hostels, no? The doorstep workshop is conducted by ICC for the hostels.
Which one?
The doorstep workshop. We'll
Just
start with
not
the,
PGs.
we'll start with the postgraduate people, and it runs. If runs have a trial run, we can exclude it to 4.
Time up.
Also there was
Time up. We'll move to the next section, background check. I'll be asking you 2 questions. You can answer it in 2 minutes each. There'll be no rebuttals. Okay. So the first question is, what was your vision when you started off as a dramatic secretary, and how do you think you have realized that vision?
could you repeat the question, please?
What was your vision when you started off as a dramatic secretary, and how do you think you have realized that vision?
Thank you for asking the question. My vision as a institute secretary for applying for the post of institute dramatic secretary was to increase both quality and quantity in the club, in the dramatics club, and after also to bring in more people to teach the amateurs to advanced level. So that is basically comes under quality, and my vision was fulfilled in the end of my tenure, as I now see more number of people who are enthusiastic towards actually performing in dramatics and not going for the administrative part of it. They are actually more enthusiastic to perform dramatics events. Even this year I saw hostel altogether going for the inter-hostel competition by itself, applying for the national competition itself and getting selected there. So I feel my vision has been fulfilled, as I now, after a time span of my tenure, see more quality in the club, as the people of the club are more enthusiastic to take part and come forward by their own and have a good quality of auditions.
My next question to you is, how many and which competitions did the dramatics contingent represent IIT Bombay in your tenure?
The number of dramatic competitions, right?
How many and which competitions?
In the inter-IT contingent, we had a competition for street play, we had a competition for mono acting, and we had a competition for one act.
Apart from inter-IT cultural meet, which competitions?
For the dramatics.
The entire dramatics contingent of IIT Bombay. Where did
Yes.
they represent IIT Bombay?
So the IIT Bombay, the theatre club of the people. The people were more enthusiastic in going outside to outer-side competitions, but they were not able to go to the outside competitions because they had at some point of time, they were then, by misfortune, they were clashing up with the flagship events in the institute, and the flagships in the institute were having professional to come there and rate them and give them reviews. For example, I would say that people were not able to go into the recent Unmaad and Chaos, which is basically the major, which is majority of, which is the major thing when you talk about inter-hostel competitions, right? So they were not able to go because of the clashing dates with Anthrod. So this was basically annual productions, which is happening today itself. And so people are more enthusiastic to perform in front of people, in front of the professionals who are actually concerned and would give them good reviews. In inter-hostel competitions, you are actually not able to get good reviews.
Okay. The question was only which competitions and not
Okay.
explanation. We'll move to the next section. We will have questions from inside.
Digitized publicity and the institute events have, both of these are being chased by the current GSCA. Having said that, these points haven't seen the light of the day yet. What special measures are you going to undertake to make these 2 points a reality?
So I have taken proper follow-ups with the concerned authorities this time, and I have proper structure of the ITB app and digitized publicity. They have already been, on a greater extent, they have been done in the digitized publicity. The RPI computer is ready by this year, by the WNCC, and in the ITB app, the structure has been ready. There's a proper team working of the SOFI people. So both of them are currently near to completion, and I will ensure them that these are completed by the end of my tenure, and they are properly functional as well.
Audience, do you have any questions for Sarthak Khurana?